Hello there, and welcome back to another Millicraft. So, you've gotten your starter house set up. You have a front door, you have some windows, but there's something missing. Something missing, as in a front porch. I want to do a special shout out to Beam Team Mum 5431 for the awesome suggestion of a porches and entrances video. So that's what we're going to be starting with today. We are going to be putting porches and entrances on these different buildings. We're going to start with a very simple and moving our way up to a more and more complicated builds depending on what kind of shape and what kind of build that you are looking at. Let's begin. Let's start this build off in basically a villager house. Now, none of these houses are actual houses, they're just for fronts, but I wanted to take a moment or two to do some very simple kinds of builds. This is our A-frame from our roof video, and this is just kind of a basic front villager house, and we're gonna do a basic porch. Now, there's a couple steps of a basic porch that you can do, and as you notice, I don't have anything in here because this is so basic. You don't need anything more than some cobblestone and some cobblestone stairs. So a very basic porch shape. That's all there is to it. And actually a villager house is usually this. That's what a villager house comes with. So if you are wanting and you have a very small house, you can always just upgrade your porch with, you know, a little bit more of an actual porch. And if you want to put a little bit more into it yet, you can add some lighting. Just like that. All right, for our next porch and awning design, we are going to put an awning over the door to protect us from the rain as we go in and out of our porch. Now, this one you could technically build it out a little bit further to give yourself a porch, but it looks a little more awkward with this. Whereas this one does sort of need some kind of porch. Now, I'm using all the same color, so you could do that or you don't have to, but just for the sake of this would be a very easy starter build. You would want to start with putting a half slab at the top part of this block. So as you see, there's a little bit of the half of the bottom slab here. And then we're going to put the bottom slabs on both sides. And the reason that you want to always have the bottom half here is because if you don't, and you put like a railing or a connector to kind of hold this up, it won't touch if it's on the top. So you'll have like a big old floating beam there, which you don't want. So we're going to bring this out to do 2 out from the wall here. And then I'm going to give it a porch that also puts it 2 out. Then we're going to kind of come down like this and give it some railing. I'm going to put in a staircase. And if we want to have a little fun with it, we could also do these fun little stairs like that. Now, quick thing to note, if you are placing stairs directly against these blocks, so right against these blocks, you're going to get this nice flat surface. But if we come this way, just like with some of our roof builds, and then do it like this, you're going to get kind of a cool, like the stairs move off this direction. So if we wanted to walk off this way off of the porch, it makes more sense to kind of walk on and off. Now you may have noticed I had a trapdoor here in this inventory, and something you can do to kind of give it a railing is you could kind of put a couple little trapdoors there. You could also put them on the outside too, just like that, if you wanted it to kind of connect. Or you can put just some fences right here. And by doing that, you can actually put some lanterns right on the porch to keep it all nice and safe for mobs. Now, if you wanted to make that porch just a little bit bigger, you could. And you could even bring it all the way out until it looks really kind of ridiculous, but that is a little too big for the scale. And in fact, I think that's a little too big for the scale of this too. So let's stick with just 2 out, and a nice little porch, and it gives a very nice look as you walk down off of your front porch You have a little bit of protection from rain and a lot of lighting to keep this whole front area over here completely spawn-proof for mobs. All right, so build number 3. Let's say you have built yourself a very simple castle. This is not a full castle, it's just a front. But let's say you want to have a very protected and fortified castle front. We're gonna make one very, very simple, but it's also gonna look pretty kind of cool. So we're gonna take some polished basalt, some cracked bricks and regular stone bricks, some mossy, and you could do mossy too if you want your whole build to look a little more mossy. So I'm gonna be adding that in. I'm also gonna be adding some pale carpet and some extra decorative things, and you'll see why I'm using those here in just a second. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take care of that moss a little bit to give us a 3x3, just like we did with the other 2 builds. And we're just gonna kind of just put in a few of these blocks until we have another little porch. Now we're gonna scale it to this, so the bigger the house, the bigger the scale of your blocks here should be. And then I'm gonna put in a stair, and unlike that one, I'm gonna give us some basalt pillars here that look kind of cool, and you'll see where I'm going with this here in a second. We're gonna put some stone walls on top. So we're gonna mimic what it would look like if we had a moat below. So if we had a watery moat here, this is what kind of like the drawbridge. We're gonna be kind of mimicking a drawbridge here. So you could scale this up and actually put in a real moat. That would be really, really cool. Now, what we're gonna do to give us a little bit of an awning, now castles don't typically need like a big awning by any means. I'm just gonna kind of put a few of these tough slabs in to just sort of give us just a little bit of an awning, and we're gonna give us some room to put in a button to be able to open this door. But before we do that, let's put a couple of these guys in. And this kind of mimics our drawbridge. And if I put chains in here, just like that, there's where our drawbridge shape comes in. And then I'm just gonna put a couple of lamps here. And like I said, we do need to have a button, so let me pull in a stone button here so we can actually open our metal door of protection, and you could put them on the sides too if you wanted instead, just to keep that door safe and sound. And finally, I'm just going to kind of put a little bit of this cool pale moss from the 1.21.4 update in it, because I think that looks really, really cool with all the mossy stone. And it's a very simple doorway, and you could expand this one out too. But again, I think after, you know, this kind of needs something minimal. So keep it scaled wise, keep it small, start small, and then kind of build out as you go when you're doing these kinds of porches, because it could look a lot bigger than you really need it to be, depending on the size of your build. For our 4th porch design, we're going to go with something very modern, very flat, very industrial, just like the front of this building. And if you watched any of my CraftWorks Season 1 videos, which you don't have to, I made a post office very similar to this and put in a porch like this. So the materials we're going to use for this flat, modern porch design, we're going to use smooth slabs, polished andesite stairs, some tough walls, tough stairs, polished tuff, some ochre frog lights, but you can use any lighted black instead of that if you have not gotten frog lights before. I just like the look of them. And some iron bars. So let's start off. We're going to make a big porch, and it's going to cover the entire building, just like you would probably see it in like a real post office somewhere. And we're also going to put down stairs all the way across, because you can imagine a post office is very busy. There's going to be a lot of coming and going of multiple people shuffling around and carrying packages and all of that. So next off, we want to build our awning, and then we'll connect the awning up. I'm actually going to give us a lower half slab right in here. You'll find out why here in a second. And then I am going to put some of these andesite stairs around. And this is very similar to my roof design where we had a flat roof, which is also where I'm kind of mimicking what's up here already. But what's nice is this will remain spawn proof because this is on the lower half of the slab. Now what's cool is we can leave this light up here. Now it's doubly spawn proof up here because of the light, but it also kind of gives you this recessed lighting look, which I think is just gorgeous. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use these tough walls on either side because we don't want people falling off into traffic if there's like a busy road right here. And then we're going to take this metal railing right here. I love metal bars. These iron bars are really awesome for builds like this. And it gives you a really cool look. And it's a very modern look. And then you could put all sorts of things like, you know, if it was a loading dock or something, you could put, you know, barrels here on the porch, or seating if you had like some cute little seats for people to sit on while they're waiting to go into the post office or something like that. For our fifth porch and awning design, we're going to do one that I'm calling a simple hidden storage porch build. So we're going to take all of these different items. So we're going to need a block of some sort, a stair of some sort, a wall of some sort, a fence gate, some trapdoors, barrels, slabs, and then lighting. Now, the reason that I'm using spruce in here is because I already have spruce in this build and it looks really good with the barrel. So let's start off with placing our porch, and I'm going to actually make a pretty big porch here because we're going to have a fairly large awning this time. And then we're going to put in multiple ways to get in, on and off this porch by having stairs going up on both sides and in the front. Oops. And then we're going to hide some storage. Now, obviously barrels everybody knows they're storage, but they also look really good and they blend in really good with this color scheme. Now we're going to make some faux railings by putting a wall and a fence gate on both sides here and just kind of give it a little bit of a room. And what's nice about this is we can put some lights on here. I'll keep all of this area all the way out, like 15 blocks, very safe in all directions. And then what we need to do is we need to build our awning. We're going to start off with a little bit of a trapdoor knowledge real quick before we get into this. You can place trapdoors at the bottom of the block. So if you see here, there's the entire block. That's the top. Here's the bottom. Or you can place it at the top. Now you can also widen or thicken a trapdoor by placing one at the bottom of this block and then the top of that block, which gives it a thicker appearance than like a single trapdoor. So if you had a single, so you can do a very simple awning just like that, but we're gonna go a little fancier. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna come across, and I am squatting just because it helps me aim a little bit better. And you can actually place trapdoors up against windows. So what we're going to do is give it a unibrow. And then you can take dirt scaffolding or whatever you want to kind of get up on top. And this block is actually going to be kind of temporary. And we're gonna crouch, because if you don't crouch, it's just going to open the door. So we're going to crouch and then aim to the edge of that trapdoor there, just so that we can place another one, and these two are temporary. And then we're going to place barrels. Now don't just click it and try to place a barrel again, it's just going to open the trapdoor. So make sure you're crouching, and then we're going to place 2 barrels just like that. So it's going to look just like that. So, and then I'm just going to open it up because I think it looks nice opened up like that. And then we're going to place a couple more trapdoors just like that. And as you notice, I'm still crouching, because another thing you don't want to do is click the barrel because you're just going to open up the barrel. So crouching, you're going to be able to place that last trap door. Now we're going to thicken this up a little bit. So again, crouching while you're doing this whole thing, we're going to place these little guys all the way down. And actually, I'm gonna remove that one. We're just gonna put 4 of these little slabs right here. So if you notice, this slab is actually a top slab. Now it's harder to see here, but you can kind of see it. Like, here's the top slab, here's the bottom slab. If I were to do it like this, you can kind of see that I can't. There, that was the top slab. This is the bottom. So if we want to put a fence post here, then you notice it's not going to line up with these guys. So what we're going to do is crouch again because we're using barrels. So you're going to add in a couple of fence posts here. Then you're going to use your dirt scaffolding or whatever you need to put another slab right on top, just like that. So now you have this beautiful little curve that goes over the top. Then we're going to add some fence gates, which are kind of cool. So if we have a fence gate right there, that kind of connects the whole thing together. And that is it for our hidden storage porch. So you have multiple ways on and off of this porch. You have plenty of places to throw all your junk. And you even have some hidden ones up above that people might not even think about because it is on top. Now, I will warn that these are spawnable fellows because they are top blocks here as opposed to the lower ones, and these are also spawnable. So if you don't have the lights here like I have, they might be spawnable. So you can take care of that really quick by, we could use your moss, or we could use glow lichen, or we could use other lighted blocks just like that. We can even put it on the trapdoors, and it's pretty much hidden up there and nobody has to know it's lit up, but it's completely safe. Well, I think by now you might be getting a hang of this whole porch and awning design thing. So we're going to mix it up a little bit and have some additional fun with this one. So let's take our supplies. We are going to be making a very floral and adorably cute front porch now. And we're going to be doing a lot with some flowers, with some campfires. So we're going to up our game with a campfire porch now. And some cherry wood, because we're going to go with a color scheme that we already have on this front with the cherry wood and with some of the pink colors that we already have. So I'm going to be making this one with some slabs this time to save on some supplies instead of doing the solid blocks. But you can definitely do the solid blocks instead. And again, we're going to be bringing out quite a wide porch. Again, we're going to do about 5 across all the way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drop a slab here, and we're going to put a couple additional slabs up here. Now you'll see why we're doing this here in just a second. And actually, I'm going to put a couple more blocks on either side here. And then we're going to put a couple of our stone blocks to kind of mimic the foundation that we have over there. And then to kind of cover up this gap, we're going to put in a couple trapdoors because I like the look of these new pale oak trapdoors and I really want to use them. An oak trapdoor would look really cool too and kind of give you a little bit of a, or even this pink might be pretty too, would kind of give you a way to be able to look up underneath the porch if you wanted. And now we put the trapdoors all the way around and we have a little way up and down off the porch. Let's give our porch an awning. So what we're going to do is we're going to put campfires up as our main porch. Now, something to think about campfires, unlike the trapdoors where you could put it at the top of the block or the bottom, campfires are only the bottom. So they will always have to be at the bottom no matter whether you point it at the top of the block or not. So we're just going to kind of come across here and we're going to do a whole bunch of these guys. Now, we're not going to use this many campfires all the way across. We are going to replace some of this with greenery here in a second. If you're in creative, go ahead and do it to all of the spaces, but you can take out a few of these here and there if you're not. So I'm just going to kind of leave it just like that with a few different campfires, and then we're going to put them out because they are atrociously loud. And it doesn't look like much of a porch yet, but I promise it will here in a second. We are going to put railing up first, though. So we are going to put this railing all the way up. Now, it doesn't look like it connects yet, but stay tuned. It will here shortly. And we're going to put that railing around here, too. And I'm going to seal off the porch on all these sides. So we're going to come up here and just put it 3 high. Whoop. Jumping if you need to. Put it 3 high there, put it 3 high here, and then seal off that porch. So it's going to look just like that for now. And then we're going to put fence gates up. Not there. We want to put them right here so that they kind of connect. Now, some of these aren't going to connect. Don't worry about it because I do have those windows there. But we will kind of cover that up here in just a second. And we're going to finish off just like that. So it looks very mishmashy right now because we are going to put in some leaves. We're going to fill in all the gaps with leaves. So all the gaps will have leaves, and you can kind of come out here if you're doing this from the ground and you don't have a way to get up. Just like that. And you could actually add a few more campfires in here if it's a little bit too much. Too many leaves here, too. So I'm going to take out a few of these. Actually, I want that pink back. Let's put this pink. And we're going to put the campfire in. We're just going to put that campfire out with our shovel. And then what you can do is you can also kind of build these cute little leaves down to the ground so that they look like they are dripping over the sides, just like that. And I love how cherry leaves do all of these lovely little pink petals. And I know in upcoming versions, because one of the snapshots is out, like 25.1.3. I don't know what it was. All leaves are going to actually have falling particles, and I'm so excited for that. I can't wait for that. And we could put little leaf debris around or some other flowers around your front porch too. But there you go. That is a very simple, very flowery, very pink, very grown over wild porch design. So I'm thinking by now you might have a good idea of where we're going with all of these porches and awning designs. We're going to do a farmhouse, a big porch. Now, I don't know about you, but my dream house was always to have a giant front porch where I could have swings and stuff on it and chairs and sip my coffee in the morning. So we're going to build one of those. And we're going to need slabs, stairs. Trapdoors is going to be similar to what we did over there to kind of cover up the porch. So we'll show you that. Some lighting, some other types of spruce stairs, and I'll show you why we're doing 2 different colors here in a second. And I'm actually going to be mixing it up a little bit by having some other cool mud bricks and things into this design because, as you notice, I've actually swapped up the color palette here. Now, these next 3 builds are all exactly the same basic barn shape, but we're switching up the colors each time to kind of give you an idea what that would look like. All right, this time we're going to be doing our slabs again, just like we did with the cherry and the pale oak house. We're going to come all the way across and give us a nice big front porch. Now we're going to put in some of our mud bricks, just like we had here, just to kind of keep that color palette going. And then we're going to put one over here too. And we're going to finish this one out with a stair because I think it looks kind of cool with a stair just kind of sticking out. We don't want critters getting under this front porch, so we are going to put some trapdoors. And this is what I kind of meant by you could switch up the trapdoors on that one over there by giving it some ventilation underneath, but also keeping critters out of the front porch. So we're going to do that with these weathered copper doors. I love these so much. I think they look very awesome. So once we get all the trap doors in, we're going to put in a couple of these mud brick walls on either side to give us some very heavy balancing railing for what's about to come. And then what we're going to do is mix things up a bit by putting a couple of these fences down on both sides, but we're going to connect them instead of with more fences with these cool fence gates. And one thing that's really interesting about fence gates is that when they're connected to a wall, they will default lower than if they were connected to a fence, which gives you a really cool look that you can work with. And it gives you more, like, it drops down to hit that, and I don't know what about that, but it looks so good. And we're gonna put in some lighting right here, and you could call that a porch. You wouldn't need an awning or anything, but we're going to put an awning on it because we do want to be able to sit out on this porch. So what we're going to do is we're going to count 1, 2, and 3 blocks above the door and put a slab on the top right over here. We are then going to put another 2 slabs that line up with it, just like this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to be a little weird, and I might have to open this gate if we're going to do it from the floor. And we're going to attach a stair. And I'll show you floating why we're doing it that way. The stair needs to kind of come out this direction. So then we're going to do that from the side too. So make sure you're aiming. So if you can kind of see the border of this block right here, you're going to aim just like that. And it's going to create that. That's what you're going to see. So you have a stair, and three slabs in the middle. And now what we need to do is we need to bring this down with another slab, just like that. Then we're going to bring it all the way across. So we're going to bring one out, just like here, and then across. Just like that. So now we have almost all of our awning, but as you notice, this awning does not line up with this wall yet, so we do need to have it bring out a little bit further, and we need to have it come down a little bit more. So I'm actually going to put it on the bottom of this stair here for myself and just kind of bring it like this. We're going to do the same on this one. And just bring it all the way across. Just like that. Look at that beautiful front porch. Now, you notice there's something kind of wonky right here. I kind of like that. I kind of like that look. If you don't like that look, instead of putting these half slabs here, you could put stairs. Just like that, right across the top. And then we're going to connect the fence posts, just like so. And they float, you know, we made sure that the last of these blocks was at the bottom of a block instead of the top of a block so that they would connect with the fence post. And there you have it, a nice big front porch for your farmhouse where you could put, you know, have a swing set here, kind of swing back and forth, or you could sit on a rocking chair and look out over your lawn. We are entering the home stretch with the last 2 porch and awning designs, and we're actually going to back up and make things a little simpler during this build with this double barn door. In this case, we actually have 2 doors. We have the upper loft area door and then the bottom door. So we want to have a way so that if someone is bringing up wheat, that they can bring it into the upper door, into the loft, and have a little bit of a platform. So we're going to be using these blocks. We're going to do some solid blocks that are foundation. And since this is a barn, I'm going to assume that there's a lot of like dirt traffic in and out of here. So that's why I'm using mud bricks and packed mud, some slabs. We're going to use some stairs, some more slabs, a fence gate, and an acacia fence. And this one's going to be very simple. Like I said before, we are not going to go too fancy with this one. So I'm just going to put some mud brick blocks down and make a very simple porch. This looks like a whole bunch of cows and sheep and stuff have been walking in and out of here a lot. And to make it a little nicer and easier to get up and up and down off of this porch, I'm actually going to switch that out. Now again, very simple, very unique kind of pattern, nothing too fancy here for getting up and down off of this porch. Now, here's something we haven't done yet, is actually placing a staircase upside down for the upper portion of our awning. We are going to place one stair upside down. So in order to do that, you have to aim at the top of the block and not the bottom. So the bottom would do that. And then we're going to do that again and again. So we have just a little tiny bit of a porch up here. But it's also an awning. So we've got a porch and an awning all at the same time. And then we're going to take our slabs and we're going to bring it a little wider. So there's a little bit of extra wiggle room when you're bringing wheat in and out. But if you notice, we can't connect our stair to this. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to bring it down and do it just like that. And that looks a little weird, but stay with me here. And then we're going to bring this across here. So this is what it looks like. So we've got the upside down stairs. We've got all of these slabs, a bottom slab, so that we can actually attach our railing. And I'm actually going to sit the railing back this time because this little awning is not very big. But what we are going to do is we're going to give it, we're going to give it a little extra structure with these fence gates. And that way they kind of stick out just like that. Or instead of the fence gates, you could put another fence and put lighting at the bottom of these instead. Now, I love the look of these gates, so we're going to leave the gates just like that. And instead, we could give it a different place. We could put some lighting in somewhere else. Kind of just doing this on the sides. Just like that. And it's a very, very simple porch design, but it looks pretty elegant. And it gives, you know, if you were flying in an Elytra, you could kind of land here. Or if you had an upper story of your house that you wanted to come out in, you would have a nice little additional porch area, balcony area above. And you could technically, you know, put some additional structure out here so people don't just fall off, and that looks nice too. I think it looks better where it's nice and open though, but we could just leave those two up there too. Our last and final house design, I'm switching things up. We don't have a door in the center. We have a window and a door, and it's a double door for once. And we're not going to do your standard porch with an awning like we've been doing with all of these. We're actually going to give it a big, thick, woolly awning, very colorful with a nice big porch to stand on. So we're gonna need more of our mud bricks because I'm kind of continuing that theme with whatever the foundation is. We're gonna do some fences, some wool, and some banners to match that wool because we're gonna go with a nice big festive awning that is going to switch this up and cover this whole space and let people go in and out of this build. In this case, we are actually going to give the entire front a porch. I love the look of that. And then we're going to take and give front porch all the way across, kind of like we did with our post office. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come up 2 blocks above the doorway. We might actually go a little bit further because we have a window that's a little higher than the doorway. So we're going to come across, kind of just going back and forth with our colors. And give it our first part of the awning that we're using. And then we're going to put a temp block in and then put in our actual block. And then we're going to do just like we did before and just go back and forth to our different colors. And now we have kind of a cool awning right here. But again, it doesn't attach to anything, so it looks a little wonky. So we do need to do a little bit more than that to make it fit and actually like look like it's being held up by something, we are going to put in a couple of fence gates up in there. And then we are going to come down with our fences on the sides here. Just like so. We are then going to match up the banners with the wool colors that you have, and you could mix and match that up all you wanted to. And then what we can do is we can put these guys in here if you want, or give us a little bit extra porch space up here by doing this up on top. And there you have a very simple kind of awning build. And we're going to add some lighting too. Let's get some solar lanterns because they are this cool cyan color for our build up front. And you have a very nice big porch that you can walk up into this double door. So if we were doing like a cool pottery store, let's give it some pots and some flowers, or let's do some trees. Do a tree, boop, and another tree, just like that. As always, here is a look from up above at all of our beautiful porch designs and how varied they can be and how beautiful you can make the front of your build look by just adding a little bit of depth to it, adding a porch, adding an awning, and adding some extra little design details. And let's take a look at them with shaders. And here are all of the designs with shaders, so you can kind of get an idea of how the light falls underneath these awnings. I especially love this one a whole lot because the leaves have some motion with the shader packs and have that light coming through the leaves, which is really awesome. I love how banners have a little bit of motion to them as well. So that gives motion with the awning there. And all of these just have such a warm glow to them when you're looking at them with the lights. Thank you all so much for joining me on yet another tutorial building excursion. I hope you enjoyed this one. This one was a lot of fun. I love the challenge of this one, being able to come up with completely different designs for 8 different kind of builds, ranging for something super, super small, super, super simple, to stuff that looks complicated, but none of them really are very complicated. So if any of these were helpful to you, please leave a comment below. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I will be doing a lot more tutorials. If you have a suggestion for another tutorial that you would like, absolutely leave it in the comments below. I love suggestions. It gives me ideas to do my next thing with. If you are old enough to join Discord, in the doobly-doo is a link to the CraftWorks Discord. I would love for you to share your builds in there with me. Let me know what you've been working on and what has inspired you from these videos. And give yourselves a hug from me. Love you very, very much. I appreciate you sticking with me through this entire video if you've made it this far. Bye from Millie Craft and the gray box. I love this gray box. Bye for now.